Welcome to Shards, a spiritual journey in pieces. I'm David, and this is a space where we are beginning to explore the fragments of our spiritual paths, those moments of breaking, shifting, and rebuilding that shape who we are. If you listen to the first episode, you know that I've been peeling back the layers of my journey and examining the faith that I was given, the faith that I lost, and the mystery I'm stepping into with you. Today, we're talking about the burdens we carry, the names we give them, and the power of speaking them aloud. You've been carrying this burden a long time, my therapist said. And I just sat there. The therapist was willing to name my trauma. The shock of realizing it even had a name and that it was outside of myself and it was something someone else was acknowledging. And then with my therapist, we began talking about how burdens can feel personal, but oftentimes they're generational, they're cultural, and the difference between carrying a personal wound and carrying a collective one. And so I felt immediately, well, somewhat immediately, but I felt a relief once I sent a letter to my family, and I felt like they could now carry it however they chose to. For me, I had carried it in silence, and I had carried it to feel safe. And so some of them have chosen to continue that, and some have chosen to open up and express concern and love. And so naming the burden doesn't just mean recognizing the pain. It means seeing where it lives, how it shapes us, and where we begin to let it go. I begin to explore the parts of myself that saved me in a way, kept me feeling safe, kept me feeling connected to the people that I love, the people that I relied on to give me nurturing and guidance and support and a roof over my head and food on my plate. You learn to survive at a young age based on what works for you. Part of that has been discovering that many of my natural traits I just kind of injected with steroids and became a people pleaser, became a person who could easily determine in my own mind, right or wrong, what the people in the room needed and what I could do to make them feel comfortable, how I could do things, making them feel okay, making them feel good, making them feel accepted, making them feel loved. And while that's a great characteristic that I will not lose, I have come to see that it is also a mask, a defense mechanism, a pushing forward my strongest, most positive attributes at the expense of what I really need from this moment for myself now. To take these masks away, to be more authentic, to be more real, to be more present, and to know that at the end of the day, when I lay my head down on my pillow, I have cared for myself. And that was so foreign to me. And I would talk the language for sure. I would proclaim self-care because that's really important. Making sure everybody else was happy, making sure everybody else felt heard, making sure everybody else was represented. And I had an image of like when you're in the water, like at a pool or in the ocean or wherever, and you have a beach ball. Just imagine trying to keep that beach ball under the water. It takes a lot of effort. You can sit on it, you can hold it. Eventually, though, that ball is going to pop up out of the water. And so that's what was happening. The efforts to look like I'm just swimming and having a gay old time here in this ocean. And isn't life great? And then all of a sudden, that beach ball pops up that I've been hiding, comes to the surface. Not because of anything I've done wrong, not because of anything I forgot, but simply because of natural forces. There was a moment in my journey, somewhere between therapy, medical visits, where I realized that my body has been carrying my burden for me. And by writing the letter to my family, and I've I'm starting to feel like the chronic stress, the anxiety, all the stuff that I had been carrying in my body has started to lighten, has started to lift, and it's a mystery. It's it's um it's cool. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. What about you? What about in your life? Have there been times when you realize that naming the burden doesn't just mean recognizing the pain? It means seeing where it lives, how it shapes us, and where we begin to let it go. But the first step is naming the burden. It is another way of giving it a binding, giving it a story, putting it in a book so that it can stay in a normal memory, a normal shelf on your library of life. I think this is a good time to share a little poem. It's called Pollyanna, Keeper of Light. You came to me in soft spun gold, an embryo protected from sunlight's glow, whispering songs of sweeter days, spinning kindness into connections and praise. You learned to smile, to nod, to bend, to shape yourself so wounds could mend, to hush the storm, to calm the seas, to barter love with open-hearted apologies. You carried the truth in soft, silken hands, then wrapped it up tight in safety's iron bands. For what was love but silence, grace? For what was safety but escape, erased? Oh, my warrior clad in heavy steel, I knew your delicate lace had to be real. Our lantern's mantle remained protected, hidden beneath the shadow of this heavy shield. A lantern dimmed to keep close the flame. True light, you're now free, free from shame. You made bright the years of captivity, the years of protection, the years keeping safe the unfelt pain. You are now free to shine out, explore the thunder and the rain, the dark and the cold terrain. Pollyanna, you are released from these soot-covered chains, whose heavy darkness is now lifted from your radiance, placed on the altar with the hallowed mask once hosting others' pleasures. It will not need any more stitching. It will not hurt when torn. And though we depend on it each moment, it no longer must be worn. Your face may shine brighter now with one less disguise. So, my beloved Pollyanna, may I take your hand? The banquet's all set, the trumpets now stand. A toast to Pollyanna, who bore the loneliness, bore the weight. You kept us repeating, isn't life great? The cheers, the applause, the laughter, and tears reflect our gratitude of your service through the years. It's easy to make those masks that protected us and that still protect us. It's easy to want to just rip them off and throw them away and say, "Get away from me. I don't need you anymore." But it's important to find a way to honor them. It's important to find a way to make space for memorial for them, because they played a huge part in our lives, and they played a part in our success. And there's a Buddhist parable. I don't have it in front of me, and it's been years since I've heard it, but it's basically about a man or a woman who builds a boat, spends years building a boat, perfecting it, oiling the wood. They fall in love with this boat, and they're building the boat just to get across the river. And eventually one day they get in the boat and they push off and they get across the river and they pull it up onto the bank, and they look to the future, their journey on land, and they realize they can't really drag the boat with them. That would not be of any use. So they simply allow the boat to stay there in hopes that someone will come and need to get across the river, and the boat will be there for them. And there's a grieving to this. There's a grieving to losing those parts of ourselves that help us reach the next level of our evolution, of our becoming. We can name a burden without blaming. We can see where it comes from without carrying it forever. If you've been carrying something heavy, I want you to take a moment of reflection. Take a deep breath, maybe the deepest breath you've had all day. Burdens are not meant to be carried alone. Naming them is the first step. It's the first step to being able to release them. Thank you for being here in this space with me today. If today's episode resonates with you, I'd love to hear your reflections. You can find Shards, A Spiritual Journey in Pieces on Apple Podcast. It's on Amazon and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Until next time, may you find space to breathe, name, and release.